What's up, everybody? Michael Massie back here on Frontstretch.com, joined by my colleague, Mark Kristl. Still here at Iowa Speedway. You see there's your proof it's Iowa Speedway. We're here where the inaugural NASCAR Cup Series race was held today at this track.
Aptly named the Iowa Corn 350.
The Iowa Corn 350, and some people want us to say that Ryan Blaney shucked the field, but I don't really say it that way because that makes it sound close. He led over 200 laps, dominant fashion. Blaney gets his first win of the season. The playoffs are no longer in question for him. The defending champion will get a chance to defend his title. Mark, what did you think about Ryan Blaney today?
He was just good all day. And when you think about it, he now has a Cup win here, an Xfinity win, and a Truck Series win. So partial repave or not, he knows how to get around this place quite well.
Yeah, and this was his third of his last 4 wins where he led over 140 laps, whereas early in his career, there's a lot of races where he might get the lead with less than 10 to go or just lead a little bit, but now his wins are becoming more and more dominant, it seems. But there was another thing that had to happen to play into Ryan Blaney's hand, and I believe that was Kyle Larson getting involved in a wreck with Daniel Suarez, Denny Hamlin. Brad Keselowski was a little bit in it. He was on the high of their 3 wide. Mark, how fast was Kyle Larson's race car before that? And what exactly did you see happen on that incident where they were 3 wide?
On the incident 3 wide, I was actually standing on pit road, and it was the restart. I believe Suarez came up a little bit, if I recall. They had just done, it was to begin stage 3. So restart, you're going for all you can get. And had Kyle Larson not been involved in that incident, he probably had a car capable of contending for the win. I know at least one of the Hendrick drivers said, I believe it was said by another driver, the consensus was he had a really fast car. And when he came back out, he was nowhere near as fast. I believe he said the steering wheel was at like 2 o'clock. It was not good. But as Bob Pockers pointed out, the team got him up to minimum speed. He cleared the damaged vehicle policy. Then they went to the garage to repairs, which on one hand you're saying he gained all of 1 position. What's it worth? And if he's going for the regular season championship, it could mean the difference for 15 playoff points. But also, if he's going for the because he's going to the playoffs, if he has a wreck where every point in the playoff matters, learning how fast the team can repair certain damage, that could make a difference. We've seen the playoffs where points, ties, those matter. So if tonight was an example of how fast they could get back on track, that's something that they learned, even though they finished 34th, 35th. They finished really low.
34th, and as you mentioned, they got that one more point for going back out there past Kyle Busch, who fell out of the race. But now the damage is done. Larson had the points lead coming in. He now trails Hendrick Motorsports teammate Chase Elliott by 8 points. Would be 9 if they didn't come back out. But that, regardless, we know Larson's going to be racing for a title for not just this year, probably many, many years. One guy we don't know what he's doing next year is another guy that was really fast tonight, Josh Berry. Mark, it looked like Josh might win this race, which would be amazing considering Stewart-Haas Racing is going out of business at the end of the year.
Yeah, I remember on the TV, USA Network showed a table of what the playoff picture would look like had Josh Berry won. It would have taken guys who were comfortable, and they wouldn't have been as comfortable anymore. He didn't win, obviously. He finished with the top 10, but for one, you have to think Berry cut his teeth racing on short tracks, which, regardless of whether you want to say this track races like an intermediate short track, it's got a 0 in terms of the mileage, 0.875. So it's a short track mileage-wise, and, he was really good. Really good run for him because I looked it up. Since Stewart-Haas Racing announced it is closing, he had 2 back-to-back DNFs. So a top 10 that's got to feel good. Rodney Childers was really pleased with the performance. I think he said that they're getting there of the you can't run until you can walk, and before you walk you have to crawl, and they're progressively getting higher up on the how Childers is gauging their performance. And the other thing that just really stood out is while Barry had a pair of Xfinity starts here, Childers said he had never been here before, and he really loved it. So depending on where they go in 2025, if Childers and Barry stay together, be it with the Rumor of Front Row or wherever they go, if they are able to stay together, he's definitely one to watch for in 2025 coming back when they come back here, hopefully.
Yeah, Childers seemed big will come back here. So did race winner Ryan Blaney. A lot of people really loved this track. It seemed good racing all around.
The stands were absolutely packed.
Yes.
And it was electric.
Yes, it was absolutely great crowd, great racing. We thought the tires would be a little iffy, and there were some tire failures, but not as bad as it could have been. Not as bad as Bristol earlier in the year.
Not as bad as Xfinity yesterday.
Exactly. But be sure to look for our content. Mark here is writing about Josh Berry, who just talked about. I'm writing about Kyle Larson, the Daniel Suarez incident. Who's blaming who there? Read the article to find out. And also look at all the stuff we got on the Frontstretch YouTube page. Also, you can follow us at Mark Kristl. What's your ad again? At
Mark and then Kristl.
And then I'm Michael Massie, M_Massie22. And, of course, follow Frontstretch on every social media thing out there. For Mark Kristl, I'm Michael Massie. Good night from Iowa Corn Country.
Steven Stump of Frontstretch.com here. Come back for more great racing videos. And if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.